I finished watching the penultimate episode of season 2, The Handoff. Great episode. Again, not so much in terms of the action. Actually, there is quite a bit of action at the beginning, but it's more so the figurative bombshell dropped at the end of the episode. Technically, there's 2. The literal handover of the cold fusion diode between Cooper and the president. That's part of the secret meeting that Diane Welch had arranged. The revelation, the discovery by Lucy, the mind-controlled lackeys that Hank has set up. They're effectively being controlled by the severed head of Diane Welch. It hadn't occurred to me initially, but she seems to be, her head at least, seems to be kept alive, kind of like Bud's brain had been. It's got a feeding tube. Her eyes are glazed over. Is she alive but not able to see? Maybe not as important is her loyalty. Is she really, truly super naive congresswoman? Or is she, like some people think, part of the enclave? Is she deep undercover, posing as a truly milquetoast, overlooked member of Congress who's part of this cabal that's emerging within the U.S. government that turns out to be the enclave? Ultimately, in the present day, the ghoul gets that diode, gets full circle. He's got it in his hand. He takes it to Robert House's suite, puts it into that device. It powers up. He is greeted by the apparent digital incarnation of Robert House. Now, does Robert House exist in a corporeal form, or is it like an artificial intelligence that's just embodying his essence? So those are the 2 big reveals. Cooper Howard unknowingly, naively handing over that cold fusion diode to the president, and also the fact that Robert House, at least in some form, is alive. And I'm not so concerned about, what is the canonical ending of Fallout New Vegas. I'm just really interested in seeing what's going to happen going forward, because I guess this series canonically is set after all of the games. Some brief thoughts. Howard getting into Lucky 38. He gets some help from Maximus, who's got an NCR power armor modified with arm blades. He kills 2 death claws. There's 2 remaining. Thaddeus is further mutating. Even the ghoul is kind of dismayed by the mouth that's formed on his shoulder. His arm falls off. People are saying he's probably going to mutate to a creature known as a centaur. Lucy, of course, she turns against her father again after some initial bonding. I mentioned it before, but Hank has a very Machiavellian philosophy. His outlook is based entirely on whether a party can take and maintain power. So in his view, the NCR and the Legion are equal. Not so much their means, but their effectiveness. And Lucy takes offense to that. That's why she locks him. She chains him to that oven. She's going to destroy the mainframe after all, after initially hesitating. I'm doing my best to not watch any previews or read comments about the previews, but I've come across a comment in saying that Lucy will remove the feeding tube from Diane Welch's head. There's also a still of Hank showing her some kind of small device. I think there will be a revelation that Lucy had at some point been slightly brainwashed. Some of her memories had been repressed or removed, like her living with her mother in Moldaver in the New California Republic. There's some speculation that the New California Republic will rise up. Maximus had grown up in that faction's territory. Certainly those citizens in Freeside cheering on the New California Republic. I think there's a possibility they're just kind of kissing ass. They may just view the NCR as the least of all evils among the factions. For like the NCR to be truly the good guys would go against one of the main themes of Fallout about how there's really no good or bad, just degrees of bad. Of course, the other main plot line would be backstory for Steph. So her being a Canadian is explored more. She's escaped in a internment camp with her mother, who's been mortally wounded. She kills people without abandon. We've seen glimpses of that early in the series. It leads me to believe that's a plot arc that the writers had planned all along. She ends up working in Lucky 38 by chance. Cooper pays her to hide the unconscious body of Hank earlier this season. There's a suggestion that they have some connection. Somehow they might have been married at some point. She might have blacklisted him to get into Vault Tech and then ultimately Vault 31. We'll learn more in that keepsake box that Betty ultimately hands over because of the water crisis. There's no showering, no flushing even. She's going to get the 50% diverted water from 32. And then there's the wedding, the witnesses. The thing that bothers us the most is the fact that Steph is Canadian, not the fact that she's over 200 years old or the fact that she might have killed Woody, as seemingly evident by the glasses that Chet has found in the garbage disposal. The obvious scenario is that Steph had somehow drowned Woody, managed to dispose of the body. I'm leaning toward the theory that Woody's actually alive. Maybe he actually is in Vault 31. But her running straight to the overseer office, that's like an overseer move. So many possibilities. Maybe she's going to sabotage the water supply for Vault 32 and or Vault 31. Maybe the keepsake box that she has is a mind control device that Hank had been developing, and maybe everyone in the vault has a mind control device. That would kind of support that still image that I've seen of Hank holding a small device. Norm makes a brief appearance. He gets knocked out twice, but in between he does make a radio transmission to Lucy and to Hank, letting them know that he's on the surface. Another banger episode. This season is better overall. The first season is going to be available on YouTube, so if you're watching this but you don't have Amazon Prime, definitely check out those episodes. I think maybe when season 3 comes out, they will make season 2 available online as well for free. Hopefully season 3 doesn't come after another 2-year delay. That would be great if it starts airing around this time next year. Definitely a lot of momentum, despite reports of lowered viewership because of the weekly release. Hopefully Bethesda is working on a Fallout game right now. It's probably my favorite show at this moment. I don't really watch a lot of shows, but when something gets me, I'm all in. The finale is next week. We'll see where this story goes.